I just returned from Venice, and these are 7 things I wish someone had told me before I went. Venice is one of, if not the most unique city in the world, but it can also be a little confusing. So these are some things you should know before you book your trip. Venice was not built on land. It was actually considered uninhabitable, but millions of wooden pylons were driven into the lagoon floor over 1,000 years ago, and this floating city exists because of that. In actuality, by 2050, only 24 more years from now, they are expecting to have to do some major work to keep this city afloat. And because of that fact, your Uber is a boat. Let me tell you, we rode the Vaporetto and some private water taxis, and they were extremely easy to figure out. Everything is well labeled. It was actually easier than a subway. So I would highly recommend using the public transportation in Venice. Not only that, it is a beautiful ride. Venice is divided into districts, so sometimes looking for a place to stay can feel a little overwhelming. There are pros and cons to each section, so it really depends on what vibe you're going for. We chose Castello, and it was absolutely perfect. First of all, our hotel was beautiful. It was our one major splurge on this trip. We did have canal views, but they were not the Grand Canal views. So it kind of depends. If you want to be in the middle of everything, right in the heart of Venice, look around the Rialto Bridge. There's probably over 100 hotels right in that little section. They all have great views. Here's a fun, interesting fact that I learned on a St. Mark's After Dark tour. So many years ago, Doge's Palace was built, and it was the governmental operation of Venice. And Venice was a strong nation. They had a lot of activity and ownership along a lot of the coast, all the way even down into the south of Italy. But they wanted to have a church associated with their governmental area, but they needed someone important buried there. And so they were on the search for St. Mark's remains. St. Mark had been sent to Egypt many thousands of years ago and was preaching there when he was killed. And so they had buried him in Egypt, but the Venetians actually went to Egypt and stole his body and brought it back to St. Mark's. In the 1800s, they found a box that they assumed was his remains. So in the 1800s, they opened it once and only once, and they did verify that it was St.